And Myanmar will hold the first auction today under a new currency regime that aims to unify its multiple exchange rates, a senior banker said, outlining the country's boldest economic reform yet after years of isolation. The Central Bank of Myanmar, or CBM, has published little so far about the new system. It has announced the new managed float, which would take effect on April the 1st, which is a Sunday, when commercial banks are closed. The banker told Reuters April the 2nd will be the first day of the auction. He's declined to be named because he was not authorized to speak to the media. The banker said the Central Bank of Myanmar is expected to announce a reference rate for the kyat against the US dollar at around 9:30 a.m. on Monday.
And on the line with us, the nation's senior reporter, Supalak Ganjanakhundee, who is now in Myanmar. Welcome to the program, Kun Supalak.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Kun Supalak, could you give us the atmosphere after the by-election from both the NLD and the pro-government?
Well, the supporter of Hong Dong San Suu Kyi and NLD have celebrated their victory since yesterday evening when they luckily know the results of the poll in many polling stations. And today, in the morning, the spokesperson of the NLD has claimed that they got as many as 43 out of 44 is contested in the by-election Sunday. Actually, it's out of 45 seats in the by-election yesterday. So it seems like the NLD and Dong San Suu Kyi is now in the mood of celebrating their victory. I mean, it is the first ever since this got a landslide victory in 1990 elections. And people here in Rangoon, I mean, they gathering thousands of people gathering in front of the NLD headquarters in yesterday evening to celebrate. It's something like a concert, like a celebration. I mean, people cheerful about whenever they announce the results of the counting ballot, and there was a greeting of them, and people keep saying this is the real victory and historical victories of the people to vote for the party they like.
And Kun Supalak, official results are expected to be ready in a week. In your opinion, how do you anticipate movements in Myanmar as well as reactions from international observers within this week?
Well, actually, within a week, people are waiting for what the Myanmar government authorities will react to that result of the Dong San Suu Kyi and NLD. Actually, I think they did not have any official reaction, but judging by their handling of the by-election and the way they treat observers and media, I think they are preparing to accept that the result of the elections and the way how to handle next one step. What they expect is not the result, because I think they know in advance Dong San Suu Kyi and we will get a victory perhaps. What they expect is the reaction from the Western countries and the United States. And the European Union has already made a clear indication that the sanction will be reviewed. And United States and this has some senior official to Naypyidaw soon to review the situation. Unfortunately, I think this is the way they are looking for. The result will show that the Myanmar authority has committed the reforms to go on.
Kun Supalak, has there been any reaction from the Myanmar government officials after the by-election?
So far at this moment, we have not yet any official reaction so far. They are saying they are counting and they were meeting for the holding to check. That means perhaps within a week they will officially announce the results. But by the way, I think, as I said, judging from their general mood and also the mood of the people here in Myanmar, perhaps the government has no other choice, just say, to confirm that result. Maybe some technicalities issue might be they can rest, but in general and in overall, perhaps they have no choice, but they have to just accept the result and announce it.
So, Supalak, from your assessment, you're saying that the people of Myanmar are very sure that the NLD will receive victory. Are there any risks in the eye of the population that there will be irregularities during counting the votes or any non-transparency?
Well, the irregularity they have filed, I think I talked to many NLD members. Actually, they filed the complaint to the authority about irregularities. But in the general, we can say that in general the election held properly, and some irregularity might have no significant result or make the result of the election. So it might be a big deal for the NLD and even the authorities on that irregularities, because it's quite obvious that the vote will go to the opposition NLD. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, well, look at this, the result, or even the NLD and Aung San Suu Kyi take 43 out of 45. But in the parliament, scoring game, 44 out of 600 is not enough to make anything happen in the parliament or make any change. But it is said that Aung San Suu Kyi and NLD will have some position and has some say in that Myanmar political system. The real power of Aung San Suu Kyi and NLD is her charisma and her personality count. This is and popular support that she gets from the election that show that this is the real thing that will happen in Myanmar politics from now on. The risk is that perhaps this popularity that people in Yangon keep saying that perhaps this popularity is for Aung San Suu Kyi push the limit, and perhaps it is beyond the limit that authority and the military could accept. By the way, it's very difficult situation for her and the NLD as well, how to deal with the expectation from the voter, the supporter, and the general mood of the people here in Myanmar, how to handle it. I think this is very difficult for them.
Kun Supalak, as a journalist, was there any obstacle or restriction in covering the by-election yesterday?
I personally can work freely anywhere as I wish that I can. A little bit. Actually, we cannot say the obstacle because they have the rule that we can observe the polling and the voting in something like a distance. They have some kind like we cannot walk in through the polling station, but we can seeing from afar, not really far. I think it's some like 100 meters or something like that. But it's not so strict. I can go even closer and talk to the voters, the politicians, the candidates who are going on. Even the officials, they are working. We can talk to them and ask them the question if there's something that we need to ask. And it's quite free. I mean, compared to my experience in working in this country, we see that this time no official come to bother our working. We can go freely. We can take pictures. We can talk to people. And even the voter can tell us what they choice, what they vote for. The people never hide their political idea. They say that this support of Aung San Suu Kyi. They said in front of the polling station. I think it's quite rare for me to see this thing have to happen. Yes. People seem they have no fear anymore because we compared to the last election, no foreign journalists allowed, and this time there's international observer, journalists, and people think and then they talk to journalists and observers that now they vote freely on their own view.
Yes, Supalak. Well, everybody is watching Myanmar, and thank you for joining us in ASEAN Business Report today. Good luck to you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we moving on to ASEAN is urging SMEs to venture beyond their national borders as inter-regional trade accounts for only 25% of gross domestic product compared to up to 70% of other blocs. ASEAN Secretary General Surin said trade among ourselves is still lower than it should be. It's 25% of $2 trillion or only $500 billion. ASEAN needs to increase that. The North America Free Trade Agreement's intra-regional trade is about 48%, while in the European Union, with 27 countries, it is 68 to 70%. SMEs should cross borders and change their mindset. Surin said, don't feel just comfortable staying here. Go out, explore, examine the landscape. It's been built, it's been open. Multinational corporations are taking more advantage of all the rules and regulations or deregulations that ASEAN companies are. He feels that investors from around the world are coming to ASEAN. Swarovski just opened up its office in Bangkok, looking forward to the ASEAN Economic Community Market. AIA changed its name from an Asian branch to an ASEAN office. ASEAN countries may have to push their SMEs outside their territories to gain advantages from the combined market of 600 million. SMEs constitute the bulk of local companies in this regional bloc. In Thailand, they account for 99.6%. Foreign direct investment into ASEAN increased to $80 billion in 2010, according to the ASEAN Secretariat. About 70% poured into the service sector, giving impetus to a rising middle class with higher purchasing power to seek a better quality of life from services besides daily necessities. He includes these factors as growth, and ASEAN are determined to make steady progress in that direction. However, challenges, problems, and hesitation remain. Some countries are reluctant to liberalize their economies due to their need to protect local interests. Each ASEAN member state should seek its own niche and do what it excels in. Surin said Laos has a tremendous potential and resources which need to be managed efficiently. Myanmar is moving very fast on the prospects of opening up an investment. Those in Thailand and Singapore are ready to go in. Once the sanctions are lifted, it will be very interesting. The competitiveness of any country depends on the quality of its people and education. In Thailand, challenges exist with manpower and flexibility.